What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been called.
He might be a whole lot of fruity too. But Cassie would know that just like Kim knew that.
So Justin Bieber has recently allegedly added to the shocking speculation surrounding Diddy, and considering their history, it's not surprising at all.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number.
They live this weird rock and roll lifestyle where they touchy-feely with each other.
In a recently surfaced clip, Diddy is seen talking to a visibly nervous Justin Bieber, who appears to be around 16 years old. Diddy is questioning why Bieber has been distant, and this clip has gained attention again after raids were conducted on Diddy's homes.
Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami mansions raided by SWAT teams.
Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, is a well-known rapper, label owner, and entrepreneur. His properties in Los Angeles and Miami were raided by Homeland Security this week, reportedly in connection with a federal investigation into sexual trafficking. Diddy's legal team criticized the raids, calling them an excessive use of force. Diddy cooperated with authorities during the raids and was not detained. Neither he nor any of his family members were arrested, and their travel has not been restricted, according to his lawyer. The clip in question shows Diddy and Bieber together in a recording studio. It's unclear when exactly it was filmed, but it seems to be from around the time Bieber was recording his debut album in 2010. At that time, Bieber was mentored by Usher, whose career was influenced by Diddy in the 1990s. In the clip, Diddy asks Bieber about his behavior, mentioning that they haven't been hanging out like they used to. Bieber seems uncomfortable and explains that Diddy hadn't directly contacted him, but had tried to reach out through others. He offers to give Diddy his number in response. In another video making its rounds, Diddy is seen hanging out with Bieber when he was 15 years old. In the clip, Diddy talks about spending what he calls 48 hours with the young star.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing.
Diddy references the movie 48 and mentions that Bieber is currently experiencing his own version of it with him. They're having a blast together, doing things they can't really talk about publicly. But according to Diddy, it's like a dream for a 15-year-old. Diddy mentions his previous legal guardianship of Usher, who mentored Bieber, and says he's now taken charge of Bieber for the next 48 hours. He promises they're going to have a wild time. When asked what he wants to do, Bieber suggests going to find some girls, to which Diddy responds with enthusiasm. Edit: The Independent has reached out to representatives for both Diddy and Bieber for comment. Diddy, who is 54 years old, is known for helping kickstart the careers of artists like Biggie Smalls, Mary J. Blige, and Usher. In a recent resurgence on social media, Usher's 2016 interview on The Howard Stern Show has been making the rounds again. In the interview, Usher talked about a unique chapter of his life back in the 90s when he lived with Sean Diddy Combs for about a year. Now Stern had this idea that Combs' place was some sort of non-stop party pad, filled with orgies and whatnot. But Usher quickly shut that down. He admitted things were pretty wild, but he didn't go into too much detail. He was only around 14 or 15 at the time, so you can imagine it must have been quite an eye-opener for a teenager. When Stern's co-host, Robin Quivers, asked if any women were trying to get with him during that time, Usher kinda danced around the question. He didn't confirm anything like that, just said there were some curious things happening that he didn't quite understand. So, why was Usher crashing at Combs' place anyway? Well, back in '94, Usher was just starting out in the music biz. He'd been signed by LaFace Records when he was just 13, but they were struggling to figure out how to market him. That's when L.A. Reid, one of the big shots at the label, decided to send him over to Combs to get some street cred, some edge, Usher was a pretty mature kid though. Even at 15, he didn't seem like your typical teenager. So, off he went to New York to hang out with the man himself, Diddy. Usher got to rub shoulders with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, like Notorious B.I.G., Lil' Kim, and Mary J. Blige. He got a real taste of the high life and what it meant to be a star. But it wasn't all glitz and glamour. Usher still had to keep up with his studies. Combs made sure he had a tutor and even paid him an allowance to keep him out of trouble. Sure, there were plenty of parties and jet-setting to Los Angeles and Miami, but Usher was still focused on his music and his education. So, after that whirlwind year with Combs, you might think Usher's journey with him ended, right? Well, not quite. Back in '94, Usher hit a rough patch. His voice started changing because, well, puberty happens to the best of us, right? L.A. Reid, the bigwig at LaFace Records, was ready to drop him like a hot potato. Can you imagine? Usher's dreams almost dashed in one fell swoop. But then, like a superhero swooping in to save the day, Combs stepped in. He told Reid, "Hold up, don't be hasty. This kid's got what it takes. He's still gonna be a star." And you know what? Combs was right on the money. Combs even produced Usher's debut album, which hit the shelves in '94. It didn't exactly set the charts on fire, but it laid the groundwork for what was to come. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Combs passed on producing Usher's second album, My Way. Sounds like a missed opportunity, right? But guess what? My Way turned out to be Usher's big breakthrough. It sold over 7 million copies. Talk about hitting the big time. When Stern asked Usher about Combs not jumping on board for round 2, Usher was cool about it. He understood it was just business. Combs was like family, a big brother figure to him, even if they weren't working together. But would Usher send his own kids to Puffy Camp? Hell no. Guess some experiences are best left in the past, right? Coming back to Justin Bieber, it wasn't just Diddy that allegedly exploited him. So, TikTok has been buzzing lately with some pretty revealing footage from Justin Bieber's earlier days in the limelight. These clips are resurfacing some uncomfortable moments that shine a light on the darker side of celebrity culture, especially for someone who rose to fame at such a tender age. A TikTok user going by the handle akindalray111 put together a collection of videos showing Bieber as a teenager, and let me tell you, they're not exactly easy to watch. It's like a crash course in adults overstepping boundaries left, right, and center. Take, for example, Jenny McCarthy, who plants a kiss on Bieber and even goes in for a butt grab as he walks onto the stage. Bieber's reaction? He's clearly uncomfortable, and who can blame him? But what's even more unsettling is McCarthy's casual attitude about the whole thing when she talks about it later on TV. Not cool. And then there's Katy Perry, who decides it's perfectly fine to give Bieber's behind a squeeze too. But it's not just physical boundaries being crossed. James Corden's cringe-worthy comments at an awards show, asking Bieber about his age and then going on about how good he smells, are just plain awkward. And let's not forget Ellen DeGeneres pulling out an inappropriate photo of Bieber on her show, or David Letterman getting a bit too handsy during an interview. And don't get me started on the radio presenter who thought it was acceptable to ask Bieber for the sex talk. Seriously, where are the boundaries? Even a French journalist gets in on the discomfort, asking Bieber some wildly inappropriate questions about French girls and kissing. Bieber's response? He's clearly taken aback, especially considering he's just a teenager at the time with his mom nearby. But amidst all this discomfort, there's a powerful moment when Bieber speaks up about wanting to protect Billie Eilish from facing the same struggles he did. It's a poignant reminder of the toll fame can take, especially on someone so young. Justin Bieber's journey from YouTube sensation to global pop star has been nothing short of a roller coaster ride. Discovered by talent manager Scooter Braun in 2007, Bieber quickly captured hearts with his debut album, My World 2.0, showcasing his boyish charm and signature hair swoop. But fame came with its own set of challenges. As Bieber rose to stardom, his partying lifestyle began to raise concerns among fans, parents, and even Braun himself. In a candid moment on the Red Pill podcast in 2018, Braun revealed his fears, admitting he worried every night about Bieber's well-being, fearing the worst. Bieber's romantic escapades also dominated headlines, especially his high-profile relationships with Selena Gomez and eventual wife, Hailey Bieber. But amidst the glamour and fame, Bieber faced controversies that tested his public image. 2014, Bieber found himself embroiled in 2 racism scandals within a week. Videos surfaced online showing him making a racist joke and singing a racist parody of his own song, One Less Lonely Girl, where he substituted the word girl with a derogatory term. In response, Bieber issued a statement to the Associated Press, expressing deep regret for his actions and acknowledging the hurt he caused. He admitted his behavior was childish and inexcusable, expressing gratitude for the lessons learned from friends and family. Bieber emphasized his commitment to growth and apologized once again to those he offended. So, in his 2020 documentary Justin Bieber Seasons, the Biebs got super real about his struggles with substance abuse. Like, he was opening up about some seriously dark times. He talked about how bad it got, like his security having to come in at night just to check his pulse. Can you imagine? That's some next-level scary stuff. Bieber admitted he was waking up and popping pills and hitting the blunt right away. It was a dangerous routine that he knew he had to break. He even made a deal with himself and with God, saying something like, "If you help me through this, I'll do the rest of the work." It's pretty heavy stuff, but it shows just how serious things had gotten. Then there's the drama with his mom, Patty Mallet. They used to be super tight, but things got rocky as Bieber's drug struggles took a toll on their relationship. He opened up to Billboard in 2015, saying he felt distant and ashamed, which made things really tough between them. But they're working on it, you know? Rebuilding trust takes time, especially when you've been through a lot together. And of course, there's the whole Selena Gomez saga. They were like Hollywood's golden couple for a hot minute there. They went public at the Vanity Fair Oscars party in 2011, but man, it was a roller coaster ride from there. On and off, you get the picture. But in the end, they called it quits for good in 2018, right before Bieber popped the question to Hailey Baldwin. Speaking of Hailey, they've got quite the story too. They met way back in 2008, thanks to Hailey's dad, actor Stephen Baldwin. They were friends, then more than friends, then back to friends again. Bieber was super honest about not wanting to mess things up with Hailey, especially with all the Selena drama still lingering, so they took their time. And finally, in 2018, they tied the knot in a low-key courthouse ceremony in NYC. But they weren't done yet. In 2019, they went big with a blowout wedding surrounded by family and friends. So, in 2020, Justin Bieber got real about his health struggles, opening up about battling Lyme disease. He took to Instagram to set the record straight, explaining that while people were commenting on his appearance and speculating about drugs, the reality was he had been diagnosed with Lyme disease and was dealing with serious symptoms like chronic mono, which affected his skin, brain function, energy levels, and overall health. It was a tough time for him, but he wanted to be honest with his fans about what was really going on. Then, fast forward 2 years later, Bieber faced another health scare. This time, it was Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, a virus that attacked the nerve in his ear and facial nerves, causing paralysis on one side of his face. He shared a video on Instagram, showing his followers the effects of the syndrome, explaining that he couldn't move half of his face, couldn't blink one eye, and couldn't smile on one side. It was a pretty serious situation, and Bieber had to cancel some of his tour dates because he just physically wasn't capable of performing. His body was telling him he needed to slow down and take care of himself. Now, in August 2023, there were reports circulating that Bieber had parted ways with his manager, Scooter Braun. It was said that Bieber's wife, Hailey, played a big role in the decision. But hold on a second, there were also rumors flying around that all of Scooter Braun's clients were under contract, and negotiations had been ongoing for months as Scooter took on a bigger role as CEO of Hybe America. So, it seems like there might have been some misunderstandings going on, but regardless, Bieber was making moves to ensure his career was on the right path. Diddy, though, is anything but on the right path. So you might have heard the buzz about Sean Diddy Combs lately. It's pretty serious stuff. Federal investigators are taking a hard look at him in connection with a sex trafficking investigation. Yeah, it's definitely not the kind of attention you want. Here's the deal. Multiple women and even a man have accused him of some pretty shady behavior. It's got people drawing parallels to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. You know,